I know many people who read your books, not all, but some of your conversations with God, for instance. And I know also people who wanted to read it, but they had a problem with the title because there was God in there in the title. And I just want to ask you, what kind of advice would you give to those people who are afraid of the name God in the title?
I would give them the following advice. Think of God in a new way. What you have been told about God, either by your culture or by your society, by your family maybe, by your religion, if you ever had a religion, what you've been told about God is not accurate. It's not the way it is. There's more to know on this subject. And it's not all been shared with everybody in the world. So we have to question all of the prior assumptions, all of the earlier information we've been given. You know what's interesting about that, Nina? In this world, we do that in science. We do that in medicine. We do that in technology. The minute that a scientist thinks he's discovered something, he questions everything he thought he knew about that before to make sure that he's not making another huge mistake. The minute that a medical researcher finds a cure for a disease, the first thing she does is she questions everything that she's done to make sure that what she understood, is either correct or not correct. And we do the same thing in technology. That's how we've come up with incredible technological devices like this. When I was a young person, when I was 10 or 20 years old, I never would have imagined that you could carry the entire world in your hand like this, and all the information that you need right in the palm of your hand. But in the one area that's most important in life, the area of our most sacred beliefs about ourselves, about each other, about life, and yes, about God. Those beliefs we don't question. We either accept them or we reject them, but we assume that there's nothing more to know on that subject.
Oh, we don't notice them. So if you, for instance, would agree that someone could also replace God with source or soul, or I like the fact that you very often say she for God when you are telling about your conversation with God. So changing between female and male when you are talking about your conversations with God. But if someone wants to talk to call it source or soul or whatever he wants, would that be fine for you?
Yes, of course. God doesn't care. You can call God anything. Life, freedom, love. You can. God doesn't care, because God. Let me share something with you, Nina. Surveys have been taken around the world. Sociologists, researchers have been asking in the past 10 years. I'm not talking about 100 years ago. In the past 10 years, sociologists have gone around the world to all the countries and asked a single question of people on the street. Do you believe in a higher power? 85% of the people who were asked that question said yes. They believe in a higher power. They don't know what it is. They don't know how it works. They don't know what it wants. They don't know what it does, if anything, if it doesn't get what it wants. But most people agree there's more going on here than meets the eye. There must be some kind of higher power. So, or as my wonderful friend Bill Shakespeare wrote in his play Hamlet, there are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. So people believe that there's a higher power, but they don't know how to interact with it. And there's a great disagreement about that, which is why currently on the planet Earth, there are 4,223 religions and faith traditions now being practiced on Earth. Over 4,000 religions, because we can't agree on who and what God really is. So what I have been offering people is what I call a solution to that problem. I call it the God solution. And the God solution is, let's redefine God. Let's come up with a new definition and think of God in a new way. And that's what I would say to somebody who says, no, I'm being pushed back. I don't want to read a book that has God in the title.
Mhm.
I would say, maybe you need to think of God in a new way. And I have found a 2-word definition of God. 2 words in English: pure love. How do you say pure love in German?
Reine Liebe, or you can say wahre Liebe, true love. Pure is rein, reine Liebe.
Reine Liebe.
Perfect.
Yes. And that's what God is. Now, usually, when I say this in front of an audience, somebody in the back of the room, some guy will get up and say, oh, Neale, I've been listening to you for 20 minutes. I was hoping to get some new information, a brand new revelation. And after 20 minutes, your big secret is that God is love. Everybody knows that. Even the 4,000 religions that disagree with each other about dogma and doctrine, they all agree that God is love. I say to them, wait a minute. I didn't say God is love. I said God is pure love. Then they say, okay, what's the difference? The difference is that pure love wants, needs, expects, and demands nothing in return. It doesn't want or require our obedience. It doesn't want us to worship it. It doesn't need anything from us. Its greatest desire is simply to express love in us, through us. And so we are all comprised, we are all made up of the same thing: pure love. Now, when people understand that God is pure love, then they might even pick up the book and read it, even though it has the word God. Terrible word. It has the word God in the title, because the God I'm talking about is totally different from the God that most of the religions teach about. Those religions teach of a God who is judgmental and condemning and punishing. But the God of my understanding judges, condemns, and punishes no one.
I think that too. But I think also that there are prejudice. How do you say it? There are problems with the word God in many brains. There's also kind of, in my opinion, my experience, there's also kind of fear about a higher power, because it isn't so explainable like mathematics. And there's also a lack of love. I think that many people are aren't very common with love. They don't know really what love is. And so there are three kind of borders to get there. Do you have an advice to overcome these fears, these lacks?
Yes. Throw away everything you thought you knew about God, about love, and even about yourself. Just throw it away. Start over. Or at least be willing to expand what you think you know. Be willing to answer the following question. Is it possible, just possible, that there's something we don't understand fully about God and about life and about ourselves, the understanding of which would change everything? That's the key question.
And if I empty myself with all that stuff I thought to know, what would be the next step?
To trust your heart. Don't trust what anyone else tells you about yourself, about life, or about God. Trust your heart. That's the next step. Because if you look for larger answers, you will receive those answers. God will bring you those answers, but God will speak to you not through your mind. God will speak to you through your heart.
And could you give us a medicine or the receipt of the medicine which makes us listening to our hearts?
Determination and commitment is the medicine that I use. Commitment and determination to find a larger answer, bigger than the answers I have been given so far. Because guess what? The answers I've been given so far about God, about life, and about myself, and about other people are not working. Excuse me, but the world is a mess. We live on a planet that's a mess. We don't even know how to get along with each other. In the world today, 653 children die of starvation every hour. Every hour.
Mm.
And we call ourselves civilized. We become angry. One nation becomes angry with another nation because of a borderline.
Mm.
And we decide to kill thousands of people because we can't agree on where the borderline should be. We literally kill thousands of people because we can't agree on where the borderline should be. That's what we call our civilized planet. So we have to admit, I see, our beliefs about life, our beliefs about ourselves, our beliefs about each other, and our beliefs about God are not working. The world is a mess. Clearly, there's something we don't understand here. And here's what we don't understand. What we don't understand is that you and I are one.